Welcome everybody to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for spirit travel and Magic the Gathering. I'm your host White, aka D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra large. This is our IRL version, and I don't know if you heard in the background, there was some really shenanigans. We've had technical difficulties all night. It's quite okay because Watsy had some technical difficulties, and that's what this episode's about. But before we start that, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'm your host, White, aka D Blanco, medium that wears an extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. Let me know how am I doing. Am I doing a good job, a bad job, or I shouldn't quit my day job? And then also do me a favor, wherever you're streaming this, through YouTube or Twitch, or you're listening through Spotify or Apple or Google Podcasts, hit that follow, like, subscribe button. I'm not charging you anything. I'm not charging you $1, a ruble, an inti, a peso. I'm not charging you no world nominations right now because gas prices are too high. Inflation's through the roof. Cats and dogs are living together. Mass hysteria. And I don't want you to do that. So if you like the show, share it with your friends and family and hit that follow, like, subscribe button. Now, like I do each and every single episode, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Greg's Games. That's right, Greg's Games at 2103 White Horse Mercerville Road in Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. This is a great place to play games. They do Modern, Pioneer, Legacy, Commander, Popper. They do Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they do Pokemon. Ladies and gentlemen, they do everything. D&D, Warhammer. This is a place to go to if you're in the central New Jersey area. So that means if you're in Philly, come over the bridge. If in New York, it's not that far of a drive, about a 45-minute drive. And if you're in Baltimore, well, I guarantee there's other LG houses by you, but come to Greg's Games. You'll enjoy it. He's extended the shop, and there's so much you can do. They got singles. They got the Commander packs and Pioneer packs, and then they got everything. Honestly, they got everything. So why would you go anywhere else? Go check them out, Greg's Games. And when you're there, tell Greg, hey, I heard you about MTG Ectoplasm. I'm glad you two are doing something together. So go there. All right. You can find them at 2103 White Horse, Mercerville Road, Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I do each and every single episode, I want to thank the person who's driving this show. She's an individual who I gladly praise because she helps with the logo. She helps with the intros. She's really the driving force behind the show. I call her the Ravishing One, but she's the one, the only, the Ravishing Renata. Say hello, Ravishing.
Hi.
Oh, see, we're having technical difficulties over here once again. Go ahead, Ravishing.
I said hi. I hope everyone's having a good time, and I hope they enjoyed tonight's show.
I hope they enjoy too. This is pre-Easter because Easter's tomorrow. So I hope everybody got their Cadbury eggs, their chocolate bunnies, and their marshmallow peeps. I'm a big fan of marshmallow peeps, but there's a lot of people that are like, I had some hot tamale marshmallow peeps. Oh, chef's kiss, delicious.
We'll have to go back and get you some more.
I know. So where did I get that from? The Crackle Barrel. That's right. I got them at the as a fat guy. I know where all the good, snacks and goodies are. Hell, there's even a new tea with little mango bubbles. Oh, dude, so delicious. Oh, I'm a fat guy who loves to eat. But speaking of fat guys who like things, I'm going to bring on a special guest. He's not fat. He's trim. He's athletic. He's a young man who is part of my play group. We actually played last night Magic, non-IRL. Actually through camera. He's the one, the only. He's the one I call my friend. Welcome to the show, New Dan. Welcome to the show, New Dan. How you feeling?
I'm great, Dwight. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good to see you again, sir.
I know. Tell me about it. Like last night, I didn't see your face. I saw basically your cards, but I did hear your voice and saw your pussycat, or your, shall we say, your kitty cat in the background on top of your tabletop trying to mess up your cards.
Yeah, she's the best. I wouldn't doubt that she'll join us tonight. I'm kind of in her space tonight. As you can see, I'm in a slightly different location. I want to be able to look at the spoilers and look at my computer and have my other screen so I can talk to you and also ignore you at the same time by looking over here. You know, I got to multitask.
No, I hear you. What happens is it's a friend of ours, a friend of the show. He actually was on our episode for Grixis Death Shadow, and let us know about the deck, how to beat it, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the deck. His name
That's
is
our
Nick.
friend Nick. He's great.
Nick. He was the one who's like, yo, did you hear about it? There was a huge spoiler drop. Somebody screwed up with this Dungeons and Dragons, blah, 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 blah. And it was kind of funny. While he was talking about it, I was actually doing research for this episode because I was going to wait till Tuesday. And you're like, Dwight, no, you got to put this episode out because
dude,
this is hot. This is a hot tamale. People have no clue what's going on. And I found out through a little source of mine, through WotC, what happened.
Let me guess. WotC has somebody on the inside spoiling cards to get everyone really excited about the new commander set, Battle for Baldur's Gate. As is going to be my running theory that they're doing it on purpose.
This is what happened.
Call me a conspiracy theorist.
You're not half wrong, but you're not half right either.
I mean, it's someone on the inside, isn't it?
Not at WotC, but at a local printing press where they're printing these cards. What happened, as I love to say, an individual who works at a facility where they print these cards happened to borrow without returning and grabbed a whole bunch. And these images that we're going to show you tonight, thanks to our friends at Mythic Spoiler, are the collector's cards. So no, they're not just your regular cards. They're the collector's edition version of these Battle for Baldur's Gate Commander Dungeons and Dragons thing. And, us in the playgroup where we're discussing like, ooh, this is interesting. This is interesting. And one thing that, I did mention for those who are unaware, there's, one thing that we know about this Dungeons and Dragons, there's going to be a dungeon. Yes, 100% there's a dungeon. Yay, dungeons.
We should, have you given the spoiler alert? Because we're going to go into some things that if you don't want to hear about the next set before WotC starts officially spoiling the cards, you're definitely going to hear some things today.
I should put an alert, but I'm going to, because I just said we have dungeons. Well, guess what? They got dragons too.
Whoa. Dungeons and Dragons?
We're talking.
What is this, some kind of crossover? WotC would never do that. They would never.
Why would they ever do that? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to be here for the spoiler, this is the sound effect because we're officially about to go into the spoiler zone. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to have to make that our thing. The spoiler zone. And this is the sound effect for the spoiler zone if you're not going to leave. Because you spoiled yourself. So, exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to dig deep and find out what this individual end up doing. It's 54 total cards. Bring it up, Ravishing. And here it is. Here are some of the cards you have, people don't know. We have Adventure. Adventure is back as an ability. What do you think?
54 cards is like that's like 20% of a set.
Yeah, definitely so.
What is it? New Capenna is only 250, so it's a large percentage of cards that were just spoiled, which is pretty great in my opinion, because I like to know what my collection is going to do. And what I should be looking out for and what I should plan ahead for. I'm pretty stoked about it. So tell me more.
So Adventure is back. So I'm looking at the first card on the far right-hand side, and it's the Dread Linworm, 7 mana, 7/6. And it can't be blocked by creatures with power. I can't make that as like 3 or less. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And then it has Adventure. Holy crap. And next to it is the Mocking Doppelganger for 4 mana, 0/0. It has flash. Copy a creature an opponent controls, except if it has other creatures with the same name as this creature are goaded. So that means goad is back.
I mean, I like that. I'm cool with that.
I like goad. Goad is a nice one. Then you got
Goad's a pretty great ability right there.
Then you got Ajoji, the Exquisite Blade. 2 generic, a white and a blue, 2/3, legendary human monk. He's not bad. Enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, you scry 2.
Okay.
Whenever you cast your second spell with each turn, exile target creature. Wow. So if you play 2 spells, you get to exile a creature. And it blinks. That's not bad.
Yeah, and it's in white. So I mean, it's in white. It's in blue. You're gonna have access to a lot of pretty decent tutors on creatures. So, drop Captain of Eos or Ranger Captain of Eos, and go find your walking ballista. Have fun.
No, I see this perfectly. If it's in like a Brago deck that always likes to blink, this guy fits perfectly for it.
There you go.
I'm looking on the next level down. You got Sky Diamond. This is an oldie but goodie. I remember playing this back in the 90s.
Really nice art on that. I'm a fan.
Oh, definitely. Then you got Arcane Sickness, which
it's a full stun.
Arcane Signet definitely needed a reprint. There's a lot of commander players out there, and they're like, "Hey, I need my signets." Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? Those days of $20 signets and now $10 and now $5 and $3 signets, they're over. They're over.
I'm trying to look at the artist names because they're not very clear on there.
No,
I see the Sky Diamond is Phil Stone. He did Oswald Fiddlebender. I only know that because he did. There were a number of these dungeon D&D module cards or whatever you call that art treatment, and just ordered a proof. So
okay.
I recognize his work. The Signet, what is that? Sam Wythe or something like that. Sam White, maybe. Hard to read. Sam something. So.
Now the one card I'm looking at is
the art.
Next card I'm looking at is the Cloak with Hermit. It's a green and 2 generic, and it's a legendary enchantment. So we've seen legendary enchantments before, but one thing I've never seen before is a background.
Yeah,
that is completely new. That's something fresh. So let me read this. Commander creatures you control have at the beginning of their end step. Okay, that's different. If a creature card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, create 2 1/1 green squirrel tokens.
I'm cool with that. You know me. I'm a squirrel guy. I got a squirrel deck. It's one of my favorites. It's just jam a bunch of squirrels onto the battlefield using non-creature spells and polymorph them into a 15/15 World Spine Worm. Can't beat it. Can sometimes go on, like turn 3. It's more casual, but it's a really fun deck because you drop a 15/15 on turn 3, and it really changes the pace of the table and the mood of everybody else around you because they're, still working on ramping up. Maybe they've got 4 mana access or something like that, and then you're, really, really laying into it. So the fact that I can get benefit off of dropping my squirrels or polymorphing them by killing them off, and then get another or more squirrels out of that is pretty great. So that's going to slot right in for sure. I mean it's just a cool card. Like you said, we've never seen a background before. I'm sure that we're going to take a look at some of these other cards and find that that's something that we'll be seeing related.
Well, the next card I see on top of our left-hand corner is You Look Upon the Tarask. It's for generic and a green, and you get to choose one. One is basically prevents all combat damage. It's like a fog, but then it has a lure ability, like the second ability, because you get to choose one of the two, has a lure and gives a creature +5/+5/+5. If for those who don't know what lure is, it means that any creature and every creature able to block a creature you control, they must do so.
It's kind of like
It used to be a combo back in the day with Basilisk and Lore, so all your opponent's creatures would die in green.
Interesting. What I like about that, something that I think you might have missed, is that it's all combat damage that would be dealt to you and creatures that you control. So it's only one-sided. I think that's pretty great. At 5 mana, though, I don't see it being played.
Highly expensive.
Yeah, it'll be fun to play, maybe in limited or in like more casual green deck, something that ramps up quick, but it's not going to see CDH. No, not high power, but that's okay. Not every card needs to be the most powerful card that exists. That would be crazy.
So yeah, the next card I saw was Astral Confrontation. I was a little disappointed because the image looks like ghastly spiritually, and it's a 4 in white, but there's no spirits in it. And it says this spell costs 1 less for each opponent. For each opponent you're attacking, and you get to exile target creature.
So it really only helps during combat. You can exile target creature. You have to cast it after you've declared your attackers before before damage is dealt, because they wouldn't be attacking after that.
It's a snore.
Yeah. Chihira's respite.
I'll let you read that one.
All right, search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Prevent all combat damage. So it's a fog, and allows you to find a bunch of lands, which is really cool. At 5, it's not bad in green. A big thing is going to be with, what is it, like Amulet of Vigor, which I think would allow you to have those enter and then untap, if I'm not correct.
You're 100% wrong. Correct.
So, paired with Amulet of Vigor, that could be a real big tempo swing that could really change the game. So I could see that being played in a number of decks. You really kind of want to build around that, I guess, and hope that your opponents have a bunch of creatures that can attack you. Now, with something like Goad, and maybe with a, I don't know, I'm thinking like Feldegriff, giving your opponents a bunch of creatures throughout the game and then goading them to attack you, to then pull out all your basic lands, fog, have them tapped out, and then turn the game around unexpectedly. Something like that could be a really fun way to win. It's up there. It's pretty cool, but I'm liking the way that the set is playing out. It looks like maybe we'll see a cycle of instance at 5 mana. Maybe. Actually, no, because that's a rare and the other one's a common. So I don't know.
Let's keep on going because we don't know what we got here. Just trust me. We have 54 cards to go through.
Yeah, so we're like 9 through. So we got time.
We just got through 6.
Yep.
So then you got, I think it's Denelius something Worker Adept.
It's the new Asmarana Martica Dicena Kuldakar.
Is that what that is?
No, it's not, but it's definitely got a weird, hard name. It's Dynaheim Inworker or Heimworker, something like that. Adept. Hard to read. And Haste. Pretty cool. In Jeskai. You may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those creatures had haste.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Bad. When you next activate an ability this turn by spending 4 or more mana to activate it, copy that ability. You may choose new targets. That's cool. That's especially with this new Capenna set, which had a lot of copy abilities. It sounds like Wizards definitely plan these things out to kind of work together. I can see that getting a lot of play. I think that's going to be a fun one to build around.
Well, it's a legendary creature, so it may be a commander.
Oh yeah.
Now the one thing is, I don't know if you know. I'm going to the next card. Is that Gates? Gates are back. I don't know if you remember Gate Crash. Were you around for Gate Crash?
Oh, I remember Gate Crash. Yeah. Doesn't Mike have a Gate deck?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like if you had 10 gates or more, you win the game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, gates are back, and you have Citadel Gate here that basically enters the battlefield tapped, but then you get to choose a particular color other than white.
It's the what is it? Trans skill, or no, the jumpstart lands, but it's now a gate, which is pretty awesome. Which could maybe there's a way to play gates in Pauper, because it is a common. Looks like a fun card and definitely adds to the gate thing. And I imagine that we're going to see a cycle of this because it says add white.
There is a cycle.
Or one
I will
mana
tell you
of
right
the
now,
chosen
there is
color.
a cycle.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they wouldn't do that. Be like, here, white gets this one gate card. We're not going to do any more. Maybe the gate deck will see some more extended play. I mean, this is just a commander set, so it would have to go into like Pauper or Legacy or something. But I mean, it's cool that they're taking or going back to different card types that they've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at Mazzy.
Yeah, Mazzy, the True Sword Paladin. It's a generic, a red, green, and white legendary creature, halfling knight for a 3/4. For a halfling, a 3/4. That's really strong for a halfling. Whenever an enchanted creature attacks one of your opponents, it gets +2/+0 and gains trample to end of turn. Not bad. That's the first sentence. The next sentence: whenever an aura you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, exile it until end of turn. End of your turn, you may cast that card. So that means, guess what? It comes back.
Rancor.
One I think is very interesting is that if you used to play back in the day and you remember Umbras, well, guess what? You could put an Umbra on a card. That creature dies. Oh no, it comes back, and then the card goes into the graveyard. The enchantment goes into the graveyard. Well, with Maisie over here, those Umbras, they come back.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting connection right there.
I think better yet, you play something like an Oratog and a Rancor, and as long as you have access to green, you can get infinite cast triggers off that. And I don't know how else it would help you, but you can put it into your graveyard and then get it back immediately, cast it for 1 green. Maybe there's some way that you can go off with that in some other way, especially with white having access to Light Pause. Anytime you cast an aura, you'd be able to search your deck for another one. So I could see that being a card played in this deck for sure. Interesting interaction with a couple of cards so that you could generate some interesting building strategies for this commander. I would go Light Pause though for sure. Just getting a bunch of stuff. Let's go.
Well, there's one, and the artwork to me is just so unique. I'm like, what the hell were they thinking with this art? But you know what? It is what it is. Artists are who they are. And then you got Baba Yasaga, the Night Witch. I think I don't know if they're trying to go Baba Yaga, as in the Russian boogeyman, but they got Baba Sayaga, Baba Lysaga. Night Witch.
I mean,
it's a generic, a black and a green, a 3/3 legendary human warlock. You tap him, sacrifice up to 3 permanents. If there were 3 or more card types among them sacrificed, each opponent loses 3 life. You gain 3 life, and you draw 3 cards.
It's cool. I don't think it's that strong. It's kind of meh. It'd be a consideration for a limited commander draft, I guess, or a slot in another deck, but I don't see it being as powerful as many of the other commanders that are already available.
Let me go to the next card, because the next card, there's something, the last sentence that catches my eye, and it's
choose a background.
No, how do you Owen, how do you pronounce that, Dan?
Imoen? I would say Imoen.
Imoen, Mythic Trickster, 2 generic and a blue, 2/3, has Ward 2, which is interesting. So that means you have to pay 2 mana to do anything to it.
If you don't pay 2 mana, you're 2 on a spell that targets it, it's countered.
Yes.
I believe that's more
That's how it goes.
accurate. Yeah.
And then at the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, draw a card. Draw another card if you're completed a dungeon. Choose a background. Like, choose a background. What the hell is choose a background?
I mean, looking back at the Cloakwood Hermit legendary enchantment background, it's got to do something with that. I don't know what they mean by choose a background.
Could it mean that you're tutoring?
Maybe it could be that you're able to tutor it out of your deck. It may be that backgrounds exist in your sideboard, similar to how a companion would work, and then you're able to like put it in your hand or put it onto the battlefield. I'd imagine that it would go into your hand only because of all the problems that went with companions going straight to the battlefield from outside of the game. So maybe that's kind of where they're going. Maybe they fixed that issue with companions in the form of a background, allowing you to get some cards that way from outside of your deck. I think the big thing is if you have the initiative as well, draw a card and then draw another card if you've completed a dungeon. So we're going back to a theme that we've seen in AFR, Adventure in the Forgotten Realm, and we're seeing dungeons being completed. We're learning of background, and if you have the initiative, which I imagine is going to be something like the Monarch.
Well, the thing is, the next card actually talks about it, which I'm like still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Our Cora Sneak, 3 generic and a blue. All we know is it's a rogue. It looks like a griffin, personally, and it doesn't tell us the power and toughness. Flying.
Yeah.
I can't even tell if it's a common.
Yeah. Looks like it says bird rogue flying.
Bird rogue. And it says whatever the sneak enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. I'm really curious about this initiative thing.
Initiative based on that, it kind of sounds like it's a counter that's passed back and forth. And if you have it, then you get benefits off of other cards that reference it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe there's something else that gives us a little bit more.
Maybe you can play sorceries as instants.
That would be interesting. That would be really cool. Yeah, maybe initiative is like a token that can only exist as a one of on the table, and it kind of works like an emblem that allows you to have certain abilities. That would be really interesting.
Because when I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, the way I used to look at initiative is you roll for it to see who does something first. And like my thing is, you already have like in Magic, you're already playing the card, you already have priority. Then you have to pass priority. So do you not pass priority here so it makes the card uncounterable? That's that's potential there. Or have a source. The other way I can think of sorcery you can play as an instant.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like not allowing priority to pass would be something that would really create an unfun game state for a lot of players because you couldn't respond to things.
It's almost like split second. The way it's it's split second on a creature.
Maybe, but I mean, it says you take the initiative, so that. Oh gosh, I clicked away. So looking at it in that way, it sounds like initiative is something that exists as only one because it's the initiative, which implies that there's only one of them. And I could see it being a token passed back and forth, similar to how you become the monarch and there's only one. With that, I think it would be really interesting if it allowed you to cast with split second, or if it allowed you to have first strike on all your creatures, or if it gave you the ability, as you said before, to cast instants or sorceries or spells as though they were instants. Any one of those things could be possible, and it's interesting to kind of theorize on what they've got in store for us. WotC's got some really cool things going on, and I'm excited about it.
Yep.
Yeah, let's keep going. This is good so far.
You got Gale, Waterdeep Prodigy, 2 generic and a blue, a 1/3 legendary human wizard. Okay, that's okay. You get to choose a background. That's the last sentence because
Yeah.
that was easy for me to read. But it goes, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast up to one target's card of the other type from the graveyard. If a spell cast from your graveyard this way would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead.
Huh.
Interesting.
It's poor man's Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, in a way, it's letting you bring things back. It's not It's not coming in with flash. Costs a little bit more. It's got a bigger butt on it because it's a 1/3. It chooses a background, which is pretty cool. Maybe you choose a background that allows you to cast spells with flash. Yeah. So if you cast an instant, you could then cast a sorcery from your graveyard, or the other way around.
Okay.
Cool.
Swift boots are back. So
Never seen that. What is it?
Come on, bro. Come on. Then you got Fang Dragon, a 5 generic and 2 red, a 6/3 flyer.
Deals 1 damage to each creature you don't control. That's pretty good for a sorcery adventure common. A 6/3 flyer for 7. Maybe we'll see a red Tron. Something like that.
No.
I mean, hey, there's mono green Tron. Why couldn't there be mono red Tron? Or at least like Jund Tron or something like that, allowing you to get that 6/5, 6/3 flyer out. And, pinging everybody for 1, not bad.
See, once he had an opportunity, I'm looking at the next card. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me if you're watching or listening to the show, you let me know what you think of this next card. I'm really disappointed in Watsy just because the card is Sea Hag, 4 generic and a blue creature hag. It's a Sea Hag, why not a merfolk?
Dude, I agree. And this Aquatic Ingress, it kind of sounds like we're going to see from that. Oh man, I wish I could make out those first couple letters, but Aquatic Ingress kind of makes me think that it's going to be another like Seas Claim or Spreading Seas as an instant for 3, and then when it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control something that we don't know. It's a common, pretty cool. Probably get at 4 and a blue.
It's too expensive anyways for let's say legacy merfolk, but still,
it's gonna be a pauper card.
The next card I'm actually liking a lot, which is Goggles of the Night, generic and a blue equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, scry 1, then draw a card.
That's not bad.
A common, that's solid.
And it looks like it's
I pay pauper. That's a solid ass card.
Yeah. And it looks like equipped too. So not bad.
Yeah. And then summon
combat damage to a player. Summon
undead, 4 generic and a black. You may mill 3 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Man,
that's not bad.
That's good. It's not bad in Commander, but I'm just thinking like Legacy. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're both pauper players as well, and I'm trying to look at it through that lens because more than anything else, these any new set is bringing more pauper cards into the mix. More than anything, it's unlikely that many cards are going to impact Legacy. Obviously, they're not going to impact Modern, Pioneer, or Standard. They'll impact Commander in some way. Some of these cards are just going to be off to the side. Some of them are going to have some places in specific decks. Some of them are going to be more widely played. Summon Undead, though, maybe there's a place for it for Pauper. If you're hitting 5 mana in an Aristocrat deck or something, and you want to play Gurmag Angler, putting those 3 in and then returning something from the graveyard to the battlefield, I mean that's pretty great, dude. That's a turn 3 play if you have a Dark Ritual. So it's not bad. Turn 3, mill 3, bring something back, and maybe you bring a oh god, what's that 8/8? What's the things that Tron plays that I don't play? I don't know. There's a lot.
Because I'm already looking at the other card, the next card, the legendary enchantment, and I'm like the background. I'm like, and it's something. Halaster. It's a generic and black legendary enchantment background. It says commander creatures you control have.
You own.
Oh, you own. Okay, you own have the first. You read it, Dan, because I'm having a hard time reading it from here.
Yeah, I am too. I didn't put my glasses on. Commander creatures you own have the first time you would draw a card each turn. Instead, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your graveyard and the other on top of your library. Then draw a card. Interesting. So so it reads this way because it doesn't want you to be able to get this trigger from more than one source. Could it be broken in some way to allow that happen? I think so. I can't think of a situation that you'd be able to do it. Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, it's for commander, so it's not going to be. This one's not going to be played in.
How many legendary commons are there? I don't think there are too many legendary commons.
I don't think there are either.
That's pretty interesting.
You know what? That's a good point. That is interesting. You know what? The only other legendary common that I can think of is the Prismatic Piper, which maybe we'll see something like that for this set. Interesting. Conspiracy theories.
Passwage Seer, 3 generic and a black. Tiefling Warlock, so Tieflings are back at 2/2. It says lifelink. Whenever Passageway Seer enters the battlefield, you may take the initiative. So here's initiative again. At the beginning of your end step, if you have initiative, put a +1/+1 counter on Passageway Seer. So
all right.
Until I know what
yeah, I mean
initiative.
It sounds more and more like initiative's going to be a monarch type thing. It's going to be something that's passed back and forth. That you get the initiative, other people get the initiative. Maybe we'll have to roll for initiative, and whoever has the highest number gets the initiative. Something like that could happen. Maybe maybe it does have something to do with split second. I don't know. Interesting to think about.
Then the next card, Nauthik, for generic and a black, a horror, 4/3. I want to call him a whore. I don't know why it's a horror.
I mean, it's you want to pronounce it that way, but it's spelled very specifically, much different.
And this horror, you have to roll a die. You have to roll a D20. The 1 through 9 is you draw a card, then you lose 1 life. Okay, I'm okay with that.
That's not bad.
If you roll 10 through 19, draw 2 cards, and then you lose 2 life. Okay, that's still not bad.
Yeah, paying 2 life for 2 cards, not bad.
Let's see what let's see the critical hit. The critical hit is you draw 7 cards and you lose 7 life. That is a critical hit. I have to admit, that's definitely a critical hit.
Yeah, that's quite the hit. I feel like they should have gone with giving this a hybrid white-black, because if you hit 20, maybe you should gain 7 life. That would be dope. But it's a dice trigger, so I could see this being abused, recurring it, and constantly getting these triggers. What?
No,
Ellen Harbury's busybody. Yeah, she's gonna be a commander.
Dude, she reminds me of my neighbor.
She reminds me of my friend Mike's God, what is it? A comic person character that he's been drawing for like 20 years now. Just kind of the look of the character so far.
Ravishing, you wanted to say something. What was that?
I was gonna say our former neighbor.
Our former neighbor, yes, she moved to Baltimore. Yeah, she would. Dude, the first day I bought my house, and we were fixing it up. My wife left, and I'm sitting there stuck inside my house. and I'm in my boxers and wife beater and stuff, or my A shirt, right? And
Your what shirt? Your A shirt?
A shirt, they're called wife beaters here in the Northeast,
Yeah.
but they're called A shirts. This lady walks inside my house and starts walking through the whole entire house. While I'm just in my boxers and my shirt. And
What?
I'm like, what the hell are you doing in my house? Get out of my house. It's like, oh, you're the new neighbor. It's like, I'm the new guy. Now get the hell out of my house.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing?
So that's why I left, because I saw the busybody. I'm like,
yeah, busybody.
That's my neighbor. She's my former neighbor, my busybody.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, dude. She's lucky we live in the Northeast and that she, yeah.
What a jerk. So let's read about this busybody. Elaine Harbees, busybody, 3 generic and a bull white, the 2/4 legendary creature, human peasant. Yeah. She's definitely a peasant in my eyes. Tap it. Look at the top X cards from your library, where X is the number of tokens you create this turn. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Choose a background.
That's pretty cool, man. White weenie. It's going to be a white weenie deck. Super, super fun. It'll be a really fun deck to play. It's just so weird. I dig it though. I would buy that card and play it.
I know you would just annoy me and remind me of my old neighbor.
Gonna go to Greg's games. Gonna go pick up Ellen Harbury's busybody. Gonna build a deck, and I'm gonna send my creatures to you, like my bronze bombshells and my steel golems, along with creating a bunch of tokens, so that my creatures enter your home and cause trouble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
if you do that, I'll be wearing my robe of the Archmage, which is 2 generic and a blue artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Equip 4 and equip something or ward 1.
Equip Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard. It's saying.
So if you have a Shaman, a Warlock, or a Wizard, you can tap that for 1.
Artifact Robe of the Archmage. Whenever a quick creature deals damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Yeah, that's a great card.
That's a pretty good card.
I mean, in blue, chances are most merfolk are wizards.
Wizards are in blue.
Dude, so many wizards. Like all the cards are wizards and shamans. I don't know of any warlocks off the top of my head, but very much wizards. That's going to be a great card. I mean, yeah, I dig that. There's a lot of commanders that can use that, and I can think of a couple different archetypes that would benefit heavily from that. Specifically wizards, because they're great. Like Naban, Dean of Iteration, like play a deck that's running him, or Naru Meha, I believe, is the other wizard that would allow you to copy spells. Both cool cards. I like them both, and I'll be buying this one for sure.
Now the next one is Eldridge Pack, 6 generic and a green. I'm like, Eldridge Moon. Eldridge Moon. What's going on over here? Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of cards in their graveyard. So that means, it's horror.
Draws X cards, loses X life.
Well, it's not Eldridge Moon. I got excited. It's like, no. Okay.
No, I mean it is going along with the themes from that set. Eldridge Moon, Eldridge Pact, draws X. I mean, you could end a game right there with that. Get them to put half their graveyard into their library into their graveyard, and then cast Eldritch Pact. Strong card, not the strongest card. Very high cost. It's going to be $1.
Janssen, Chaos Crafter, red, white, and a black legendary creature, gnome artificer. I do not know what the power and toughness is. Has haste.
Looks like 3/2, maybe.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell.
Tap it, sacrifice an artifact creature. Sacrifice
an artifact creature. Artifact.
Create 2 creature tokens. Okay.
Treasure tokens.
Yeah, not bad. Then tap it, sacrifice a non-creature artifact, create a 1/1 colorless construct.
Creature token.
Okay.
Construct something creature token.
That's okay.
Construct what? Construct gnome? Construct something.
Construct something.
Because there's too much space there.
There's way
Construct.
too much.
Yeah. Blank creature token. Interesting. So sacrifice an artifact. Create 2 treasures. Sacrifice a non. So you can create. You can sacrifice a color. Wait, is this in blue? No. I mean, it would go infinite with like an intruder alarm, wouldn't it? Because it would untap it when a creature enters, and then you'd be able to tap and sacrifice one of those. Oh no! Well, I guess no, I couldn't do it.
You would have infinite mana.
Sacrifice a non-creature artifact. Yeah. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, you would. If you had blue, if you had intruder
treasure
alarm.
tokens. Yeah.
Okay, if you had intruder alarm and you tap it and sacrifice a non-creature artifact, you get 2 1/1 colorless creature tokens. They would untap, right?
Yeah. It would untap, but then you'd tap and sacrifice one to get more treasure tokens, and you wouldn't untap it from the treasure tokens.
No,
you'd have to have something else that would allow you to either pay and create a creature, or it doesn't combo.
No, that's awful.
unless you can use the treasure tokens to pay to untap a creature. If you have a creature that has an ability that's pay and untap, but it's off color anyway. It's all just hypotheticals. I think that's a cool card. I would play that. Okay. Lots and lots of treasure stuff.
Yep.
So Ragavan's gonna really be impacted by price.
So the next 2 cards are a legendary enchantments, both backgrounds. Street Urchin, a green, a generic, and a red. Commander creatures you have is sacrifice. Tap 1 mana, sacrifice a creature or an artifact. That creature deals 1 damage to any target, which I think is pretty interesting. That works well with the Janssen Chaos Artificer, and then the Passionate Archaeologist, which is a generic and a red. Commander creatures you have, whenever you cast a spell from this creature deals combat damage equal to that spell's mana value to. So it's interesting.
Probably another creature you don't control or something like that. Spell from something is whenever you cast a spell from exile, this creature deals damage equal to that spell's mana value. The only thing that I can think is that the word that we're missing at the top is exile, because it's only like 5 letters, and that would allow for about as much space as you need to finish that sentence. Deals equal to mana value to. I would imagine it says. Any target or something along those lines. It's pretty cool. I think what we're getting is backgrounds are things that impact your commander specifically, giving them abilities that they don't currently have, kind of like an aura would, but allowing you to pull them separately. And I think like we speculated before, it's probably something existing outside of your deck. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. I'm now looking at the next card, Lulu, the Loyal Holy Elephant, or Holy Font.
Yeah,
it's a white. It's a white and 3 generic. I don't know the power and toughness. It's a legendary creature, elephant, angel. Okay, no, what the hell is an elephant angel? What the hell is this? At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each tap creature you
control
and then untap them.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then cool, create a background.
But what the hell's up with this holy elephant? Elephant Angel.
Holy Elephant Angel. I mean, I think it's cool. I just like it. I think, you can. What's the one that we were reading before that allows you to bounce your own creatures? The Bobby Liaga?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't it. It was Imoen. Where is it? Beginning of your end step, you have initiative, draw a card. No, it was. Oh, God. We did read it. The one that allowed you to bounce things, right? What was that?
Yeah,
It pairs
that was
well
the first
with
card.
that.
OG. It was OG something or other. It was the first card.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, OG, the Exquisite Blade, allows you to bounce things. Turn the battlefield, exile. All right. So, whenever you cast your second spell each turn. And then this dude, the Elephant, beginning of your end step, they're permanent. You control left the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each tapped creature you control, then untap them. Yeah, I mean, they have synergy, which could be really fun. There are other things, obviously, that will synergize with it, but within this set, specifically, that could be a fun interaction to play together. Lulu would be, one of the 99. Be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the precons and then upgrading them. Master Chef, my favorite show.
I'm sorry. My favorite cooking show is Iron Chef, but okay.
Iron Chef.
Let's read. Go ahead, Dan. Read this card.
Yeah, it's a legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have this creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on them. So basically, everything that you own enters with a 1/1 counter on it. Cool. Play it with, what is it, Hardened Scales? Doubling season, things like that, and just benefit off those counters. It enters with a 1/1 counter, so it's a replacement effect, right? And it doesn't trigger. So it's cool.
Next card is something Iliad Harvester, 4 generic and a blue, a 4/4 creature horror. Iliad enters the battlefield.
Plant tadpoles.
No, I'm trying to read what it does. So when it enters the battlefield, turn number of tapped target. Your 2/2 horror creatures. It's okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a 4/4 for 5, but it has an adventure. Tap X target creatures. They don't untap during their next untap step. So it kind of like does a Hands of Binding for X, and then enters the battlefield. Turn any number of target tapped and untoken creatures face down.
Wow. See the next card? Ball, the Lord of Murder. 2 generic, a black, a red, and a green legendary creature. God.
As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, Bahal has Indestructible. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 counter, I'm going to guess, on that creature and goad it. Wait, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 counter. It can't be on Ball, Lord of Murder, because it's too short, that space right there. And code it.
Put on creature.
Put a 1/1 counter on. Yeah, I think it's on another creature. And goad it on, or maybe on an opponent's creature. Don't know if there's enough space for those words. I would say on a creature.
Now, the next card I think is very interesting, and you who like wizards,
Yeah.
now not just Wizards of the Coast, but wizards themselves. Yeah, to me that is Bushied. Wizards of the Thay, 3 generic and a blue, a 3/3 human wizard. It has Myriad. Instant and sorceries you cast, cost 1 less to cast. You may cast a sorcery spell as though it had flash.
Oh, that's great. with Myriad. So, oh god, what was Myriad? That has something to do with when it attacks an opponent, you create a copy of it that's
Something
also
like that.
attacking other opponents.
Something
If I'm
like
not
that.
mistaken. Yeah.
I think you're right, but
Yeah.
that's an interesting card.
Well, that ability would then stack, which would be really crazy. Or at least the first one would, making a lot of your spells a lot less. Myriad. Pretty sure it's triggered ability that may also create a delayed trigger ability whenever this creature attacks for each opponent other than the opponent that's being attacked, creates a copy that's attacking that opponent as well.
I think this fits
or
perfectly.
Planeswalkers. That's a cool card.
I think it fits well with the Grand Inquisitor Augustine the Fourth.
Yeah,
I think that works very well with him.
I can see this one.
Mana cost too of all white spells and blue spells, and this fits perfectly with instants and sorceries.
Yeah, or Talrand Sky Summoner, which would allow you to create Drake tokens, 2/2s with flying every time you cast an instant or sorcery. I believe, I believe it's both. Let me just double check because I haven't looked at that one in a while. And
so,
cool card.
Okay. I want to go to the next card. It's called Raised by Giants. It's 5 generic and a green. Commander creature you control have the base power of 10/10 and are giants in addition to their other types. This is a legendary enchantment that is also a background.
Yeah.
So that's pretty freaking badass. You have a little puny 1/1. For example, what's that squirrel? The
Chatterfang?
Is that the legendary squirrel?
Yeah.
Okay, you put that with this thing, it's now a 10/10 squirrel.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how big Chatterfang is. It could be that, but yeah, I mean, there any commander could benefit from that. Casting cost of 6, pretty high, but not bad. I'm taking a look at this next one. Lazel, Valkett's Champion, costs 2 generic and a white. Legendary creature, Gith Warrior. Don't know of any other Gith creatures. If you would put one or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control, or on yourself, put that many plus one of those of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, and choose a background. Interesting. Very interesting.
Could it be that you could have multiple backgrounds and you get to choose which one you use at that particular time?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It kind of like I said, it kind of sounds like that background is going to be something that exists outside of your deck that you then choose to play. Similar to how the dungeons exist outside your deck and aren't counted in your 100 cards. Okay. So maybe they'll come up with a rule as well saying, you can have 5 backgrounds or 3 backgrounds or, whatever. Maybe you just have a separate deck full of backgrounds and you can choose any one of them. Probably only in the commander's colors, I would imagine. But I feel like there's going to be a limiting rule to the number of backgrounds you can have existing within your deck or sideboard. Or maybe they're trying to force 15 card sideboards into commander as well, which would be a bummer.
Well, let's start speeding through this. You have Raja's Rail.
Oh, we got a lot more to cover, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's speed through. We have 3 generic, a blue and a black. It's a legendary human rogue. Death touch, it enters the battlefield, and you take initiative. So more initiatives. I can't read the rest for some reason.
I got it on big screen. So whenever you attack, target attacking creature gains death touch until end of turn. If you've completed a dungeon, that creature also gets numbers plus 5 plus 0 maybe, and gains first strike and menace until end of turn. Pretty cool.
Wells reversal, 2 generic and a red. Choose target spell and ability.
With 1 or more targets, roll a d20 and add the greatest power among creatures you control. 1 through 14, you may choose new targets for that spell or ability. 15 plus on your d20 roll. You may choose new targets for that spell or ability, then copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy.
It's like a reverberate.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like a reverberate. It's kind of like a Narcissus reversal. It's Will's reversal. Noble's Purse costs 2 generic. It's an artifact. When it enters the battlefield tapped, and with 3, it enters tapped with 3 coin counters on it. Use pennies. Remove a coin counter from Noble's Purse. Create a treasure token. Side note: I think it's really important for appropriate token and counter use. So when you're playing something like Chalice of the Void, you've got to have one of these.
Okay.
Little tiny chalices.
Okay.
One of my favorites.
So the next one is Cliff Gate. That's, like I said, this is an ongoing thing. Now they're going to have gates.
It's the red one. Cool.
It's the red one.
Sounds good.
Okay, then you got blur, 2 generic and a blue. Exile target creature you control. Return that creature to the battlefield under your control. Draw a card.
Cloud Shift for 3 with draw a card.
Yes.
Nice. For 3, a little high, but not bad. I mean, it can do a lot. So
yeah, it can save a creature. It can blink a creature. It can do several things.
Yeah. There's probably a loop there as well that you can make, drawing your deck and getting ETB impact, something like that, especially with all the copy stuff that you can do. Flying, it's called Sturge. It's 1 black. It's a common. So this is a pauper card. Insect, bat. It's a bat. Okay, flying, Sturge can't block. Pay 1 and a black for Blood Drain, it looks like. Pay 1 life, sacrifice it, and draw a card. Yeah,
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's not that bad.
You can see pauper play for sure. There's definitely a need for card draw. Paying 1 life, not bad. Death triggers, things like that. There's a black deck that could play that for sure.
Engineer's Pack, 3 generic artifact. Engineer's Pack enters the battlefield. Tap it in 2. Sacrifice Engineer's Pack. You may take an initiative, gain 3 life, draw a card, and create a treasure token. Activate this ability as a sorcery. Not bad. It's okay.
Yeah, no.
I just don't want to know what initiative
not great.
is. But...
yeah, like I said, it's going to be a counter. It's going to be like Monarch, and we're going to see it. It's basically going to say, you can cast, you can do something cool. I don't know. Next one, Rug of Smothering. For 3 generic, it's a artifact creature construct. Uncommon, flying 1/3 with whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 1 life for each spell they've cast this turn. Too bad it's not a common and could stop Storm. Could be a sideboard card against Storm decks. I'm not going to play it, at least not right away. Nemesis
Phoenix. 3 generic, 3 generic, and the 2 red mana creature Phoenix for 2 flying. I thought this was interesting because our friend Tom 2 likes this. It's 2 generic and a red. Return Nemesis Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking, which I think is great. Activate only during the declared attack step or step, and only if you're attacking with 2 or more opponents. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I'm down.
Okay. I'll let you do Criminal Pact.
Yeah. Criminal Past. It's 2 generic and a black. I haven't read any of these cards before, so this is reading on the spot. Legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have menace, and this creature gets XO, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Fun. Yeah, a lot of graveyard strategies in Commander. That'll see play for sure. Furkrag, Cunning Instigator. 3 generic, blue and red. Flying Haste Dragon, legendary with 3/3. Whenever one or more dragons you control attack an opponent, goad target creature that player controls. Not bad. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one or more of one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this combat, because of the goad, you put a 1/1 counter on Firkscrag, Cunning Instigator, and you draw a card. That's cool. For 5, it's pretty high, but it's got a cool ability. It's fun. Probably one of the 642 in the set, it looks like. So it's probably one of the precon commanders that we're seeing as a different art, because of the high number on that. At least that's my guess. Looks like a lot of the different art treatments are going to be higher numbers, but that one seems especially high for being relatively low in the alphabet. But then again,
now we have Ceravoc Deathbringer, 3 generic and a black legendary creature, human knight, a 3/4 at the beginning of each player's end step. If no permanent left the battlefield this turn, that player deals X damage to where X is Cervoc's power. Choose a background. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, no permanents left the battlefield this turn. Player loses power. Choose a background. 3/4 for 4. Yeah, cool.
Now the one that our friends Tom and Nick both like were the Rayful Red Dragon, 3 generic and 2 red, a 5/5 flying dragon. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. That's pretty damn good if you're playing Commander and you have a a Dragon Commander deck where it's just all tribal dragon.
There's a lot of pretty oppressive dragon decks, in a lot of different power ranges, and this one's going to see play for sure. It's a cool card, and for only 5 mana for a 5/5 with flying, with an ability like that, it's going to see a lot of play. I don't want to deal with it because it's a problem. So think about that when you're playing.
I want you to read the next one because I love all the synergy on this card. I looked at those.
Okay. It's a Sultai, black, green, and blue with 1 colorless, 9 fingers keen. So a friend of Krark the Thumbless. Legendary creature, human rogue with menace. Ward, pay 9 life. Wow. Whenever 9 fingers keen deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 9 cards of your library. You may put a gate card from among them onto the battlefield. Okay, cool. Then if you control 9 or more gates, put the rest into your hand. Otherwise, put the rest on the bottom of your library. I think it should have been a 4/5 because that makes 9.
I thought the same thing, or a 5/4.
Yeah.
Or
and,
3/6.
Yeah, or a 5/4 or a 3/6. Yeah, there should have been some synergy with that. And they should have done it 9 times. Now, did they?
No.
Did they include they could have done casting cost was like 6 generic and then have it cost less based on the number of gates that you control, something along those lines. It's already begging to see gates, which is cool. Ward pay 9 life. That's like messed up, dude.
Yeah.
That's really messed up. That's like take 4 commander damage, take 5 commander damage as well.
Well, I think we're coming to the end here. You got Raphael's Fiend Survivor. It's a 3 generic, a black and a red. It's a 4/4 Devil Noble legendary creature. It's flying, and other demons, devils, imps, and tieflings you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. Interesting. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature card was put into the graveyard from anywhere this turn, create a 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, put a When this creature
Deals 1
dies,
damage.
he deals 1 damage to target any target. I think that's very good, very interesting.
Yeah. In Rakdos, there's a lot of stuff that are looking for that. For a lot
It's a
of
devil. It's a
yeah.
devil, and it fits.
It's a devil. It fits. It's got really cool art. I'm a huge fan of that.
And then I'll let you read the last one.
Traverse the Outlands. Looks like a reprint of a card that we've got with a really nice art treatment on it. Huge fan of that. Chuck Lucas is the artist. I've got a couple cards signed by him, and he's got a great signature, actually. Really like the way it looks. And really, really nice piece on this. I know that the foiling is impacting the colors that we see with like this nice rainbow in the background. If that's intentional, as part of the art on the card and not like the reflection of the foil that we're seeing, which it may be, I really, really dig the composition. It's got nice balance and it's got nice colors and it's really cool to look at. So yeah, that's fun. There's some really cool cards in this set. Now, going back to what I said earlier about me being a conspiracy theorist, saying that this was like a specific targeted release, the only lands that we saw were the Cliff Gates.
Yeah, but you got to consider this individual stole several packs.
This is 50 cards.
54 total.
54 cards. So that's like 3 packs, scrapping a couple of the cards that were in those 3 packs. Well, assuming that maybe there's some duplicates or something along those lines.
And then the one thing that we did not see is the dungeon. There is a dungeon that is out there that wasn't on this list for some reason. Mythic Spoilers did not post it, but there is a dungeon out there.
Well, do we know it, or have you seen it?
I've seen the dungeon.
I haven't seen the dungeon. What does the dungeon do? Doesn't the dungeon mention initiative as well?
No. What happens is the only way to get into the thing is you have to go into a dungeon.
You have to go into. Oh, right. I think I read that as well. I think I saw it on Reddit. Something about. Yeah. See if you can find that. I can't share my screen. I don't think. Otherwise, I'd try to pop it up on your screen. Baldur's Gate. Spoiler. What's the name of dungeon? See if I can find a picture of that dungeon. Have an idea of what it looks like. I don't see anything when I'm just searching those words, but whatever. I'm pretty excited about this. I think that the precons are going to be fun. I think that there's going to be some cool abilities. The initiative and being able to have backgrounds is going to be a fun thing to play with. Really interested in seeing what those are, but I still, if this is 3 packs of the collector boosters, with a D&D or a commander set, I think those had 20 cards apiece, right?
Right.
I can't remember what the collector's packs had on those, but I don't think that the math works out. Either the person pulled duplicates. We're seeing how many rares? We see a number of rares and commanders, which makes it seem like this isn't necessarily a representative sample of what you would see in only like 3 packs, unless they were holding stuff back specifically.
Unfortunately, like it's not like it. I can't find it. It's probably in a Reddit group somewhere.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, maybe next time when we do another episode, we'll be able to find it and say, "Hey, here's the dungeon that we could not find." What happens is there's 2 cards so far that are missing. Here is that the creature card that allows you to go into the dungeon and the dungeon itself. Because what happens is, like I said before, there is a dungeon, there is a new dungeon, and the only way to go into the dungeon is if the card says you may enter this particular dungeon.
Interesting.
So what happens is the previous Dungeons and Dragons cards, as much as we do like them and do enjoy them, They cannot enter the dungeon unless it reads that particular dungeon.
Interesting.
It sucks.
So you have to, so like the dungeons are named rather than being like choose
Yes.
a dungeon.
Each dungeon has its own specific name.
Oh,
But
so
but this what happens is there's a particular card that reads you must be able to enter this particular dungeon.
yeah. So you know what? I'm looking at something else on magicspoiler.com that has a number of the cards that we've seen, in addition to a couple others like there's a Wayfarer's Bauble that we didn't talk about, I don't believe. And I'm trying to see if maybe I can find the gate or the dungeon as well, or any other card that we haven't seen, because it'd be really fun to find that dungeon. Where is it? Oh yeah, Undercity. Here it is. Oh, and the initiative. You want to know what it is?
Where are you seeing this?
I'm seeing on this, and I'm seeing.
What site are you on?
I'm on magicspoiler.com. The last two cards, there's a Wayfarer's Bauble in the middle, and the last two cards that I'm seeing are here. I don't know if I can send a chat with you, but I'll send the link if I can. I don't know how to do it.
No, I'm for some reason I'm not.
Just search. What did I search? I just searched Baldur's Gate spoiler on Google, and it was the top one. Commander Legends Baldur Gate spoiler from magicspoiler.com.
Spoilers.
You're on Mythic Spoiler, or at least you were.
I was on Mythic Spoilers. Now I'm at the other spoilers.
Now you're on Magic Spoiler. It's at the very bottom. Well, not the very bottom. It's kind of like halfway down the page, because the other stuff is things from. Oh,
okay. I see them now.
Wait, why is it showing? Oh, there's other cards as well, like Bountiful Promenade, Elder Brain, Wand of Wonder, Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes, a Planeswalker as well.
Yeah, so
there's some new lands.
So you can do me a favor, read the initiative for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Whenever one or more creatures a player controls deals combat damage to you, that player takes the initiative. So it's kind of like Monarch. Then whenever you take the initiative at the beginning of your end step, venture into the Undercity. So it's one dungeon, it sounds like, specifically related to the initiative. And the Undercity says you can't enter this dungeon unless you venture into Undercity. So it's specifically you have to go into that dungeon by the rules on that dungeon itself. So you can't go in with AFR cards. Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, a couple sets ago. Secret entrance, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. The next two are Forge and Last Well. It looks like Forge is put 2/1/1 counters on target creature. Last Well is sorcery 2. Both of those go into the arena, which says goad target creature. Forge can also go into trap. Target player loses 5 life. Last Well goes into stash, which is create a treasure token. Then from the arena, which both Forge and Lost Well go into, you can enter Archives or Catacombs. Archives is only accessible through Trap. Stash is only accessible through Catacombs, or Catacombs is only accessible through Stash. Archives is draw a card. Catacombs is create a 4/1 black skeleton creature token with Menace. Holy crap. And then both of those feed into Throne of the Dead 3. Reveal top 10 cards of your library. Put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put 3/1/1 counters on it. It gains hexproof until your next turn. Then shuffle. Pretty cool dungeon. So, all right, if you take the initiative at the beginning of your end upkeep, venture into the Undercity. Dude, initiative's great. So you deal So basically, this set is everybody is in the Undercity.
Mm.
Because anything that allows you to take the initiative by playing cards from the set is going to put you into the Undercity easily. It kind of sounds like. I mean, by design, this set kind of wants you in the Undercity, but because of, if you're playing this set to, like, I guess using the precons or the cards from the set, it's going to kind of act like Monarch with an ability that relates to you getting this card. But I think at some point in the game, basically everybody goes into the Undercity.
Yeah, so there's more. The dual lands, the tango lands, I think they're called. If you have 2 or more opponents, the bountiful promenade.
Yeah.
They have reflecting pool. Holy crap! Spire Garden, Sea of Gardens, Luxury Suite, and Morphing Pool. Those are back. I'm happy to see reflecting pool. I'm happy to see that back. Ancient Brass Dragon. Like, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you. Oh, look at that! We actually have our heroes right here. You have Minsk and Boo, and for those who don't know, Boo is the hamster.
How do you know this? I don't know anything about these people. Who are they?
Because the Dungeons and Dragons lore.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. I don't know Dungeons and Dragons actually.
Yeah, so Boo is the hamster, and Minx is the hero who has Boo.
I thought that you made up your own character.
You do, but there are sub characters in the game that you can play.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fun.
So there you go. I mean, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Cool.
We went through a lot. I mean, there's still a lot more cards. Fireball is back. Lightning Bolt is back. Wow.
You think we'll see Channel?
No, Channel's not out of here. But it's kind of amazing, ladies and gentlemen, that someone did spoil it, and here we are. We get to talk about these cards for you and share our thoughts with it. I'm happy that Dan could join me tonight. And you could go through what, our thoughts and also your, as you put, conspiracy theory was.
Dude, I'm telling you, I mean, I don't know. Why do we have the rest of these down here? It's so weird. I don't know. I just can't. I guess raising that up to like 57 cards, probably 3 were duplicates. I could see that, but then again, the number of rares that we're seeing compared to the rest of the cards doesn't make it seem like it's a representative sample of packs being opened. But then at the same time, like, if you were on the assembly line at the factory making the cards or whatever, I feel like you'd be taking a picture of a sheet or something that's less randomized, unless you're doing quality control of random packs and snapped a few photos. I don't know, man.
Well, there's a lot of people's fingers that were in this image, so good thing it wasn't their fingerprints, because we'd probably end up knowing who they are, but we saw the back side of their fingers or the front side of their fingers.
Yeah.
So, Dan, do you have anything else you want to share with the listening audience before we decide to call it an evening?
No, I guess follow me on Fires in Atlantis if you want to see
on
things
Instagram,
that I don't post. Yeah, on Instagram. I don't really post, so there's you can shoot me a message and give me hate mail. Tell me that I'm the worst, and this is how we do.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy that I could have Dan on. He was the one who's like, you got to do the show. You got to do the show. You don't want to go too late. You got to put this out, because God knows who else or what everybody else is going to talk about, because this was a huge drop. Somebody in WotC, I know Papa Hasbro is probably losing their mind, saying, how the hell, I guarantee they're not happy about the scenario that all of us now in the world know what's coming out in the near future, because they like to do the little shows like, oh, welcome, yeah, you know what I mean?
Dude, it's like the same amount of time before any set comes out. There's always like the same spoiler, the same.
Not this heavy. This is a lot. This is a lot. But then again, like look at the set. Look at the card numbers. They revealed less than like 7% of what's in the set. Gives you an idea of what to expect and like allows you to speculate on different archetypes and abilities and other things that you're going to see. Within these cards, we see some good reprints. We see some really interesting art. We see some fun new stuff. Adventure's back. Goat is back. Melee's Melee's back.
They're giving us a little bit to get excited about this set, and it's the same thing every time. So I don't know. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to look at all this data and just say, like, again, Wizards is releasing this information.
Okay, you say Wizards. I say it's a factory worker who this is what my little insider is telling me. It's somebody inside of that factory snatched it.
I don't know.
So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. I promise to have new Dan back at a later episode. God knows what's going to come right around the corner.
Yeah, man. Got some spring break right now. So
spring break, right?
Spring break.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy your Easter. Eat your little Cadbury eggs and your marshmallow peeps and your little Easter bunnies.
Oh snap!
Something happened. What happened? Did somebody eat your Cadbury egg?
I think so, maybe.
The cat got it.
No, I think my dog took all of the eggs. I gotta go.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The show's over. So with that being said, then next time you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they say, "That's Bushi."